Okay. You're welcome to this section of data governance lead, most likely question and answer, interview question and answer. By virtue of what the responsibility that you may be charged to carry out. You could be asked the purpose of your being employed is to, as a data governance lead, is to provide administrative support to the head of data governance and data governance subject matter expertise to implement and apply a data governance best practice. Of course, when they say data governance best practice application, they're trying to tell you a practice of data governance program which is superior to every other alternative in terms of results that are available. So, for example, if it's okay, now, can you give an example of a data governance best practice that you have carried out during your time? You could just give an example of saying, I implemented a centralized system. This is very easy for tracking managing data governance artifacts. So the artifacts included like the policies, glossaries, and process documentation to ensure accessibility and alignment across all departments or functional departments within the PROS. Do you understand the PROS, the concept of PROS? Have you heard it before?
No.
Okay. PROS means different things for different concepts, but in data governance, PROS simply means public records services. So, public record services. So, it's when you look at the JD, it's stated there. In fact, every aspect of it you'll be seeing PROS. So that means
no, the company is PRS.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what actually really kind of really mean. They deal with records in terms of, it's about music. I think.
No, it's performing rights. Performing rights society.
Oh, so the company, yeah, it could be performing services society if that is what it means. But in data governance, PROS also means, public services.
That's what their own PRS means.
That's why I say it depends on the concept where they want to use it for. But this particular PROS in data governance actually means you're dealing with public records. You say it's a service of public record, but if that is a company they are referring to, that's fair enough. Is that okay?
Yeah. So you said process and documentation to ensure.
Yeah. The process of documentation, to ensure. What are you asking? Is that the statement I made earlier?
Yeah, the data governance artifacts like policies, glossaries, processes, and documentation.
Okay, yeah. I said you have to you had implemented a centralized system for tracking and also managing, data governance artifacts, including policies, glossaries, and can say process documentation. To ensure accessibility so that people can have access to it and alignment across all functional departments within the PROS. PROS now be a company. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yep.
So in doing that, what could be the challenges you might have faced? Definitely in doing all those, you may have faced challenges. Don't forget in your statement, you can coin the challenges from there. But in this, you can say balance
Yes.
the need. Always thinking, because when you talk about complex data, you can always say balancing the need for comprehensive documentation. That means a lot of, so a lot of data are coming and documentation could take place. So you can be able to tell them that balancing the need for comprehensive documentation with the practical constraints. You understand the word constraints of time?
Okay.
And resources, because sometimes you might not be able to have enough resources to balance the comprehensive documentation in a practical time constraint. So while ensuring the system remains user-friendly and adaptable to evolving data governance requirements. So sometimes when you have more complexity of data to handle and always evolving, so you might have resources issue and also resources including time as part of constraints that you may have, So that statement is this. These are the first to the question I'm going to tell you. It will ask you this question, the first question that may likely to, so that may likely to come. So if you have seen that challenge, maybe during the time of your implementation, what could be the solution that you prefer to mitigate against it? So you can easily say this. Anytime you're talking about management accounting, management challenges and implementation, what you just need to talk about is collaborating with key stakeholders. Always remember that.
As the solution.
Yeah, because it's a very big management problem, because we're talking about time constraint, we're talking about resources allocations as well. In order to still balance it with this with the customer, so that the system could remain more user friendly and adaptable to data governance involving requirements. So what you just need to do is to collaborate with the key stakeholders to prioritize essential data governance artifacts. What will be the one that we need to prioritize? Okay, and streamline documentation processes. So by so doing, you're able to utilize automation to simplify administrative tasks such as version control, approval workflows. If you already have a workflow system, it will be so easy for you to get things done, and also dissemination of updates. So if you have that done, things will be so simple. Okay, always remember that. Okay. And then maybe you can let them know that you actually did that, and what did you achieve after doing that. You can say successful. You were able to carry out successfully and implemented the centralized system as you have started with, resulting to how many percentage? Resulting in a maybe 30% reduction in administrative overhead associated with managing data governance artifacts. Do you understand overhead? The word overhead.
No.
Overhead is talking about charges. Okay. So the more you spend time in doing something, the more you see some charges coming in. Okay. So this position is expected for you to use the right terms, concise and precise in dealing with that. So, and when you have 30% reduction in administrative overheads, so what do you expect that the stakeholder will do? They will be very happy. So you can say stakeholder have reported improved accessibility and clarity of data governance documentation. So, all right.
So 30% reduction in
administrative overhead.
In administrative overhead. Okay.
In fact, you don't even need to talk much, but then unless you are being prompted to speak much, because you understand? Okay. And if you read it carefully, they talk about the role requires knowledge of PRO's data and how it is managed and processed by the various business units so that responsibility can be taken for maintaining the currency of key data governance artifacts. You should understand they are laying emphasis on something, key data governance artifacts. Before you step out for the interview, you always remember key data governance artifacts. So this include the PRS data policy, which of course I mentioned the other time, and also PRS data glossary of critical data items. So their definitions has to really be there, and also any associated business rules. So the job holder will be responsible for working with data stewards to maintain, review, and update this information. So now, in letting them understand this aspect of the key role requirement, you have to say, okay, I have done that before. What can you tell us what you have done? The first thing you need to talk as an example, in your previous job or where you are now, whatever the way you want to present it, you say you have implemented a comprehensive data governance training program. Okay. Because what they are saying that the rule requires knowledge of PRS data and how it is managed and processed by the various business units. So the thing is that if people need to get the knowledge of the data in that company and how you could manage them across the functional department or just a business unit, then you could say you have implemented a comprehensive data governance training program for all PRS employees to ensure a deep understanding of PRS data landscape. Very, very important. So data policies and the glossary definitions. Okay, this actually leads to a culture of data stewardship and accountability across the organization. Do you understand that at all?
PRS landscape.
Yeah.
So the
you
landscape.
You just say, because you need to, because the question requires you, the role requires knowledge. You see, the same time you see, no one should be ignorance. Anytime you talk about the word knowledge, they're telling you that no one should be ignorance. Not only just ignorance, also manage the same processed by various, you see, the process by various business units. So indirectly, it's trying to tell you how can you ensure that in the organization, every business unit in the organization, how can they have the awareness, the knowledge? How can they have the knowledge?
Of the data.
Yeah, of the company's data, which is PROS. So, so you should be able to let them know
how it is managed and processed.
Yeah.
Across the units, the business units.
That's correct.
Okay.
So what that means is I have implemented, that's what you're going to, I have implemented a comprehensive data governance training program. Because what you're talking about knowledge. So anywhere you see knowledge, just know you need to have training. Great awareness. Okay? Program for all PRS employees to ensure a deep understanding of data landscape. That is PRS data landscape. That means what the company's data are. That's what it means, the landscape. So data policy and the glossary definitions. So fostering a culture of data steward. You know, the stewardship are people who actually enforce what has been put in place and accountability across the organization. We try to tell you awareness and how it can be processed. Because if you look at that, it's about processed by various units, So that means that not just only creating awareness, you also need to manage the same and also allow this thing to be processed. So very, very important. These are very key things. So why doing that? What do you think will be a challenge of carrying that out during the time you carry that out? What do you think would have been a challenge? You could tell them, tell anyone or that, ensuring timely audits and accuracy of data governance antivirus in a rapidly, because if you look at what they try to say, that is their data is rapidly evolving, is growing. So we need to talk about the timing of audits and accuracy of data governance antivirus. And what are the antivirus? You remember?
Glossary. Policies.
Yes. So if you have data that are rapidly moving within the landscape of the company, so what will you do? You need to always update your
Review and update
quickly. So that is, so talk about the timing of the update could be a constraint, especially when data is managed and processed by various business units, okay, with different priorities and workflows. Because each unit can have different priorities and workflow, but you want to meet up with the timing. So that could be very challenging. So what have you done to kind of to mitigate against such? You have established regular communication channels. You see now?
I'm still going to come back to that challenge. I've not written it, ensuring timely, but let me put this one. Regular
communication channels.
Communication channel.
With data stewards.
To track progress.
Yeah, with data stewards from each business's unit to facilitate ongoing collaboration and information sharing. So you're able to implement a structured review process with predefined intervals for updating data governance antivirus. Leveraging automated reminders and workflows to ensure accountability and timeliness. What that simply means, you have a collaboration process put in place with data stewards from different business units because they have their own priority, they have their own workflow. So for you to really make sure everything has to flow according to how the design of the program is to ensure establish regular communication to see how they are doing in order to meet up with, the time. And when you are doing that, you share information frequently, and there will be a structure in place. You review the structure of the process. We predefine intervals for updating data governance antivirus. Antivirus like glossary, policies. So you always going to be updating. Why? Because you need to understand that you have ever-evolving data in a PROC system or landscape. Okay?
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions for you. But what they provided here is big. And I want you to understand that the earlier most of them are interconnected. So use the right word, the right time for it. So for example, if we look at the job holder we lead on the coordination and implementation of data maturity framework, you see that? Have you seen that?
Yes.
With support from an external consultant that we assess PROC system capability as is and to be, assess the gaps and introduce a program
for future
of work to address them. So this form one of PROC data strategy objectives for that year. Okay. Now, so do you understand that aspect of the job?
Implementation of a data maturity framework is the assess and access. So you assess what is on ground and then provide solution from the gaps, what is missing, and kind of introduce a program to fill those gaps. So have like a data governance program in place.
Okay. Now, how will you be able to assess what the current situation is?
Having a data governance maturity assessment.
We can't even talk about maturity now because you are employed as data governance lead, and you are expected to, when you gain access, you now carry assessment, and you need to prepare a roadmap. This is where roadmap comes in.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And during your assessment, you're able to determine the gaps that exist.
Okay.
We can't even talk about maturity right now because they are talking about maturity framework. So, first of all, before you talk about
they have a framework already.
Well, no, it might not really be. You say the job holder will lead as the coordination and implementation of a data maturity framework with support from external. So, first of all, if they tell you that you're going to lead something, probably they may tell you that there is already maturity framework. I don't think so, because for where it is right now, it looks like a brownfield, but it's not to a brownfield, because they are trying to tell you as is and to be. So that means you need to have a gap. You need to carry assessment of their program. If there is at all, then you create a gap. And that will form a very big framework. That means a program for PRS, data strategy.
Okay.
So now, for example, I can do that. I have done that before. I led the coordination and implementation of a comprehensive data maturity framework. Okay, for which company? For a company before, you can say for a company that you work with before, collaborating with internal stakeholders and external consultants to assess current data capabilities of that company landscape. The company you mentioned, identify areas for improvement, and develop a roadmap. That's why I say you must understand the roadmap that you develop to enhance data management practice. So if you don't have a roadmap, you will not be able to talk about maturity.
Okay.
It's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days.
Okay.
Okay. So now, when you did that, what did you have as a challenge?
The challenge would be, so in my roadmap, should I open that up first? What would be in that roadmap? That roadmap would have me creating a strategy, a data governance strategy that articulates with the data management, business strategies, and the IT strategies. That would be.
What about the challenge? Because you're going to speak as
adoption. The challenge is adoption.
Sorry?
adoption of the framework
By who?
by the stakeholders.
Good.
Change
So
management.
thank you. You need to use the right word at the right time and communicate soundly, because some of these things, they want to know your ability to articulate what you have said you know. Okay, what you just need, because most of all these questions, the answer, they are in the questions. Okay, so you can say, overcoming resistance to change. See the language? Overcoming resistance to change and gaining buy-in from the stakeholders.
So this is the challenge now, or solution?
That is a challenge.
Challenge, overcoming resistance to change.
Yeah. And gaining buy-in, from stakeholders across various departments within the organization for the adoption of new data maturity framework practices. So, and or you can bring another example, like ensuring that the framework accurately reflects the organization current data landscape, while also aligning with long-term strategic objectives. Could also be a challenge. But however, or you don't just say could also be, you can say it is. All right. Okay. And then what have you done to mitigate against those challenges that probably you met with during your time? Okay, you can say you engage in an extensive communication and collaboration consultation with key stakeholders at different levels. Okay, or what do you think?
Yeah. Right, with key stakeholders. Yep. Collaborate with key stakeholders across all levels. Yep. Yep.
Okay, engage in extensive communication and consultation with key stakeholders at all levels of the organization to emphasize the importance of data maturity framework in driving business objective or success.
Emphasize.
So how did you do that? You can say you have conducted workshops and training section to educate employees on the benefits of the framework and solicited feedback to tailor its implementation to meet specific departmental needs. If you look at the role, it requires a lot to deal with different departments. And always know that you need to collaborate, you need to implement, you need to train, you need to carry out, when you have issue of a program to be implemented, just know that most of the challenges will be like buy-in into
Buy-in, yes.
And also resistant to change. Always use the right word at the right time. And how did you do that? You did a lot of engagement. You engaged in an extensive communication collaboration with key stakeholders at different levels, irrespectively, okay, of the organization, to lay emphasis on the importance of data maturity framework in driving business needs, business success. So how did you do that? I did that by actually conducted, workshops, training sections to educate the employees.
Weekly meetings.
You cannot just be with me. You need to know that whatever you are saying should not, because you can overbore people if you keep on having, they have their responsibilities. So you negotiated when to be meeting. You will not impose this, I want to see you people so do so to every Wednesday. So no, you have to negotiate them to agree to say, okay, we could be having meeting once in a month or twice in a month, depends on the complexity of data you're handling or the work in your hands. or the target you have set. Do you understand? I want you to talk as a professional. You understand? Because it's a very high role. And this kind of role is like, it's between 60 to 70K if you had this kind of a role. So I know, so I should know what I'm talking about. So is something that require not just knowing data governance, is really application oriented, practical oriented. That's why they started with best practice. So there's a position of data governance manager that is different. But when you talk about data governance lead, which of course
is lead higher than manager.
Oh yes, now. Data governance manager report to the lead. I'm a lead data governance. I'm a lead data governance manager and also head of data in another organization. So when you see me speaking, it's quite different. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. You should be able to articulate what you're doing.
Lead is higher than manager. Me, I thought.
What are you talking about? But you see, do you see what I told you? That I was able to tell you the salary. You think I'm joking? I'm not joking.
I'm not joking, no.
Because when I see something, I will. And that's why I said they should not. I don't want them to pay you below or your rate, because if this is lead. Do you understand what you apply for? You apply for data governance lead. It's not data governance manager. So that's why they're trying. You're going to be driving the whole team. Do we have data governance people under you? You're going to have data stewards under you. Okay? Data analysts and all those ones will be, because your role is to be, in fact, the head of data might not even be there. You are the one leading. So it's just that they try to tell you that you need to report or support the head of data. Okay, the head of data may know about data governance, but is actually leading somewhere else. Okay, you report it.
What did I put myself into?
That's why when I'm telling you, when you want to, answer a question that they may impose on you, you have to know how to articulate it properly with the right terminology and a concept that you need to put together. That's why I'm giving you this. Don't say I'm too strong or hard on you in letting you know what I want you to know. Okay? So if you make just such challenging with those overcoming resistance to change and gaining a buy-in, so what you could do is to engage in extensive communication and consultation with key stakeholders at different levels. Always remember that. And this led to what? Successfully you were able to successfully implement the data maturity framework, resulting in comprehensive assessment of the company data capability as is and also to be identified. So, and address critical gaps in my data management processes, leading to tangible improvement, that is visible improvement in data quality and data integrity, efficiency, and decision-making across the organization. So it's about when you reflect upon your implementation. So the job holder will apply their data subject matter expertise. Look at what is that data subject expertise to contribute to a project for the evaluation and assessment of new data tools, systems, processes as required by different areas of the organization business. So what would you say, give an example of such, will be like, I utilize data subject matter expertise to evaluate. You know the meaning of evaluate, weighing the value of. So that at the end of every operations, you're expected to evaluate what you have put in place. In this term is program, and assess the suitability of a new customer relationship management system for the organization, because when you are dealing with data, collecting data from, from different company. So ensuring that this is actually CRM, you understand that? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
this is a CRM platform. So, yeah.
New
That's what
data.
that's what they're dealing with customers. If you look at the question, you will say, the job holder, we applied their data subject matter expertise to contribute to projects for the evaluation and assessment of new data tools, systems, and processes as required by different areas of the business. So you are always getting new data and you have to. So you could actually really say you actually utilize data subject matter expertise to evaluate and assess the suitability of new customers relation management, the CRM system for the company that you work for, ensuring that it aligns with organizational data governance principles and meets the specific actually needs of various departments, because you deal with different departments. So what could be the challenge you had faced during that time when it comes to that? So managing complexity of
or inaccessible data.
Okay, we can say that, or managing the complexity of evaluating multiple data tools, systems, and processes across different business areas. Don't forget, you're talking about business areas. Okay, while ensuring consistency in assessment criteria and also alignment with the company's overarching data strategy. Okay, do you understand a strategy? What is strategy? Do you understand the word strategy?
Plan. Yeah, long term and short term.
Long-term plan. Long-term plan. Short one is called tactical. So it's very important that that could be the complexity of data. Multiple data could pose challenges to you. So if it is so that you have met those challenges before, what did you do to mitigate against it? Probably you can say you established a structured evaluation framework that is so good, that includes key performance indicators, KPI.
Yeah.
Okay. Data quality metrics as well. Compliance with data, governance standards. Okay. So you collaborated with, you cannot just do that without collaboration. Always talk about collaboration. Anytime you're a team player, you should know that you need to collaborate. And when you collaborate, if you're discussing issues and talking about collaboration, they know you have communication skill. Anytime you talk about collaboration, it's about communication. And how did you do that? You have a skill of doing so. So you collaborated closely with stakeholders from each department to understand their unique requirements and prioritize their evaluation, okay, criteria accordingly, because you need to, if you don't have criteria standard to carry out evaluation, that's not evaluation anyway. So leverage data analysis techniques and also industry best practice. So it is very important it is a best practice for you to collaborate and have a very sound communication with all concerns across departmental, functional department with a criteria, evaluation criteria. You have to prioritize it to make sure it is done properly. That's actually a best practice. It's very objective when you carry it out to assess the effectiveness and suitability of each tool that you may use, system or process as well. Okay. So when you do that, they may ask you, what did you achieve? You can always refer to that you achieved, and there is a very good insight. There's adoption, there's recommended, the system work fine. You can always talk. But for me, successfully evaluated and recommended. The adoption of the new CRM system that improve customer data management also enhance the operational system efficiency across multiple departments within the company. So if you want to talk about achievement, you can always draw your deduction from the solution you have put in, and you can also say it leads to customer insight or stakeholder, good stakeholder insight. You know the meaning of stakeholder?
Yes.
What's the meaning of stakeholder?
Everyone that has a positive intention on the growth of the
It
business.
doesn't need to be positive. Everyone that's interested in your business. Some people can be interested in your business, but they are not positive anyway. So that's very good. That's anyone that's interested in your business.
In the business.
Very good. Yeah. So if you look at the role, they said also the role we include administrative duties, including coordinating meetings, recording and follow up on meetings, action, and reporting status out to stakeholders. So, yeah, have orchestrated monthly data governance sharing committee meetings. You have developed, or you have, you have implemented, or you have orchestrated. Okay, ensuring timely coordination, accurate recording of discussions, and dissemination of meetings outcomes to relevant stakeholders. So simple. You understand?
Okay.
So simple. In doing that, have you ever met challenge? Yes. What challenge you? Well, managing conflict schedules and priorities of meeting participants, ensuring also active participation and engagement throughout meetings could be a constraint, and also addressing any logistical or technical issues that may arise during the coordination process could also be a constraint. But I don't say it could also be, depends on how you project yourself before them. You say, oh, this is what you believe. Or if you say you have done that, you can say, yeah, managing your experience and managing conflicting schedules and priority of meetings. As a constraint, one of the challenges. So how did you mitigate against all this? What you could say, I implemented a centralized scheduling system, to streamline meeting coordination. So also about allowing participants to indicate availability, receive automated reminders. You see what I'm talking about? Utilize collaborative tools such as share agendas and real-time note-taking platform to capture meeting discussions and also action at items promptly. So you can also say you proactively address any technical issues or connectivity issues to ensure seamless communication and participation as well. So it depends on how you're going to present it. It matters because the role they're talking about here is you also include administrative role, coordinating meetings. So it's administrative roles, recording and also follow up and meetings actions. When I say, okay, you have meeting of A, B, C, D people, and A to carry out that action log. You have in the action log, say A to carry out that, B to carry out that, C to carry out that. You need to follow it up.
So what's the issue I always have with these interviews is that you don't know where they're going to come up, if it's your CV or the JD. Sometimes it's not even the JD.
And you receive it.
Because the previous one, it wasn't the CV, it wasn't the JD. The questions that I had for that 1.5 hours, it was not their JD. It was not my CV. Meanwhile, I was reading my CV. We went through the JD, and then they had their own.
They can come from anywhere, but the important thing, your area of expertise must be strong there. If they are coming from anywhere, you'll be able to, as long as data governance, you'll be able to answer it. Do you understand? Because definitely they're going to ask you, can you tell me about yourself, what you have done? Who are you? Tell me something. They will first of all tell you about their personal self. I am this, I am that, I'm the head of data, I'm this, that. I'll be working so then tell me who you are. So you need to know your CV very well to tell, you need to know your profile to speak about your own self. Okay. And then you not talk. Yeah, that you know, that is normally thing. If I say I give you 5 minutes to tell me about who you are. Your communication on this will determine whether I should go on with the interview or not. Okay. So you need to be able to sell yourself, especially also just let anyone know exactly any initiative you have carried out before, either data governance initiative or data quality initiative you have carried out before, or anything data analysis initiative you have carried out before, and the result of it, and then that is really okay. Then from there, they pick it up and ask you more questions about what you said about yourself, or as you are saying it, they're checking your CV. That's okay. This one's not in line with what he said, or what this is in line with. How did you do that? Then they can come to JD, and then some of them they can also say, "Can you tell me the economic value, benefit that you will bring to the company if we employ you?" So this is where you're able to now display your expertise, what you have done properly before, and what the challenges you have made before, the solution you implemented, the achievement that came out of the solution that you profess to, that mitigate against the challenges, and every other thing will navigate upon it.
Okay, implementing a glossary, is that an initiative? Because I can talk well of that.
Oh, yeah. That is a very big initiative. So make sure you articulate it properly. Use the right word. Looking at them, look at, first of all, when you came, you saw that gap. What you did is to, you carry out, before you saw the gap, you actually have assessment done, and you saw the gap. And what did you do after that? And what was the result? How were you able to maintain? It's about sustainability of what you have put in place, the framework you put in place, and then what happened the first year, second year of the same. So it's very important. Okay. Yeah. I got to go now. And you have anything to say?
10:00. Wow.
Yeah, because I was expecting myself to have finished this a long time because I have other things to do. Okay. So what we could, but I can give